Hi, my name is Achim Schlöffel, InnerSpace Explorers, and today, as promised, I would like to talk to you a little bit about how to attach bolt snaps to equipment. As examples, I prepared a set of wet notes, backup light, a reel, primary first stage, and an SPG, some basic tools. You basically need a pair of scissors and a lighter, and obviously some orange line. That's especially for ISE the most important thing. All right. Let's start with the wet notes, and this brings me straight to the first big mistake, in my opinion at least, and this is a strange addiction some divers have to double enders. I frequently see equipment that is attached to the diver like that, and in my opinion this is not a smart idea, because you have two failure points. This one can open and this one can open. Especially you have the stuff in your pockets and you pull it out, there's always high likeliness that you unclip it accidentally and then the piece of gear is gone. So the double ender is nice, it's a working double ender for a spool, for stuff like that, but it is not the smartest idea when it comes to attaching a snap to gear that you want to handle. So what we do is we take a regular bolt snap, and most wet notes, especially the ISE ones, have this piece of bungee cord here, which is a fixed loop, and the only thing you do is you go through the eye of the bolt snap, put it around, and then, as you can see, this is basically like a cross knot. It pulls tight and you have a permanent attachment that, in case you have to, you can easily open up and remove. So we're done with the wet notes. So let's stay with the topic of the double ender and have a look at the reel. One of the major philosophies in this DIR concept was there's no metal-to-metal connection, because you cannot remove it in an emergency. If you get entangled, how do you want to cut off a metal connection, which is not possible. Funny enough, all these reels come like that. So if this is connected to, let's say, your butt D-ring or your hip D-ring, and you get entangled somewhere, how do you want to remove it? If this is under tension, there's no way to remove it. So this is stupid. In fact, some of the manufacturers said, yeah, well, if you can't find anybody to tie on bolt snaps, which I think is a pretty stupid excuse, I think it's just simple for them. So the first thing you do when you buy a reel like that, you take the bolt snap, or the double ender, and put it away. And then you take bolt snap and a piece of line and make a proper connection here. So if you get entangled and you have an issue, you can always cut it. So let's do that. We take some line and melt it down a little bit. And the first thing we do, we make a U like that. Put it through the eye of the snap, around, like I just showed you, and close it. So now we go through here, once, and another one. It's actually easy when you try to not do it in a way that everybody can see it. So now the line that comes out here goes around. You make a knot, tighten it, and then go around once more. Make another knot, tighten it, and then you put a cross knot on top. Hope you can see that. And make this really tight. Cut the ends off. Take a lighter, melt the excess down all the way to the knot and press this on the knot, so this one will not open up accidentally again. Same thing on the other side, melt it down. And you have a proper connection that in case you can cut off. So another thing fixed. Alright, let's have a look at the backup light. A pretty old one, but for what we do, it's nice. So we take another piece of line. And here we do it a little bit different. So we take, first of all, we take a small bolt snap. It doesn't make any sense to put a long snap on that, because especially when you're not like 2 meters tall and you put the long one here and you put it on your side, the big problem is that this goes further and further and further down the bigger the bolt snap is, and at some point it will start to interfere with your SPG, it will start to interfere with your light canister if you have one, obviously on the other side, with your argon tank and so on. So the shorter this snap is, the further it will come up and the more comfortable it is to wear. So let's take a small one. So to do this, we go through the hole, we go through the eye of the bolt snap, we go here a second time, and we go a third time. So the trick here is to pull it along with the other two lines. So now I'm 3 times through the hole in the light and through the eye of the snap, and then I'll put it down, and again we make a proper cross knot, and as you can see, this is quite stable and a really nice attachment. And the same thing again, cut it off and you melt it down. Alright, another one fixed. Okay, now we come to this one. I actually showed this in one of the other videos when we talked about the double regulator configuration, but anyway, let's do it another time. And for those who haven't seen the other video, here again, it's important to take a small step, right? You don't want a heavy one like this dangling next to your mouth, so you want the smallest possible. So again, you take the U like this, put it through the eye, over the snap, and you pull it tight. Alright? So the next thing is you find the spot where you want to place it, and this is not close to the second stage. It is actually one hand off the stage, which means you can still easily take it into your mouth while it is clipped. You can even give it to somebody else. So and it is much easier to grab on top of that because your hand is not interfering with the second stage. Okay, pull it through there again. Tighten that a little bit. All right. this goes to the side, and this goes to the side. And now make a knot here. Retighten this once more. And put a cross knot on top. And now you can actually see we have a stable connection here. This is not sliding, and actually when I take it like this, I have it perfectly in my hand. Same story. Cut this one off. Cut this one off. Big mistake a lot of people make is that they think the melting down is to prevent this piece of line to split open. So they do like this and let go. And that's obviously nonsense, because the knot can still open when it becomes wet, when something's pulling on it. So what you do is you really melt it down all the way. And this is also why this doesn't work with wet line. It doesn't burn and melt. And then you press this on the knot, so that makes sure that this will not open up again. Try not to burn your hoses. Alright, and you can see we have a beautiful connection here. Alright, one last thing I would like to talk to you about, connecting snaps to our primary regulator. This is two inflator hoses, I know, but this is just for demonstration purpose. So I showed you how to attach this with cave line, nice and easy. But when you go to the dive site, you see all these experts, self-taught, internet, whatever, and you see these two solutions. So I would like to spend a minute talking about that. So the first thing I always see is cable tie. Cable tie holding the bolt snap to the hose, which in the first place seems to be like a smart idea. You remember, the world would not exist without cable ties and duct tape. So the big problem is that you can pull on this like crazy, will not come off, but it is very fragile when it comes to turning. And as you see, it was very easy to take this off, and so this is obviously not the brightest idea. So then there are some even smarter ones that say, well, if that's the case, then we'll put an O-ring between the cable tie and the bolt snap. And now you can twist that and it will not break. You're super. And the other argument obviously is that when they clip it, for example, they clip the primary regulator and they go on a stage, they say, well, if somebody needs my long hose and I can not give it away, I can obviously break it free, which is true. It's actually relatively easy to break those away. But the big problem is that the bolt snap is aging. So it's rubber, it is quite sensitive to UV light, sunlight, becomes brittle, and so as Murphy's diving with you, most of the time this will break, and it will break in the most stupid situation, I can assure you that. So we don't want this breakaway clip, we want a proper connection with cave line, and in case of an emergency you can always cut it away. With the SPG, we actually place the snap close to the instrument. Actually we use this groove here, and the reason is that the length of the hose is made in a way that the SPG is basically on the D-ring. So we have 56 centimeters on a double configuration, because the hose basically goes straight down, and we have the 62 centimeter configuration on a single tank, where the hose makes a slight curve from the first stage down to the hip D-ring. And so obviously the snap needs to be quite close on the instrument. Before we connect it, another major point is that I frequently see people, especially the internet self-taught ones, that route the hose through the eye of the bolt snap, which obviously is not a smart idea because again we have a metal-to-metal connection. You can never free that in case of an entanglement because you cannot cut it away. And same thing, by the way, also for this, I also have seen people putting the bolt snap over the hose of the primary regulator, which is even more stupid. So again, we need some line, and again we make this U go through the eye of the bolt snap, put it over the snap, and pull it tight. So now we place it in that groove. We go around here once, twice, and then we go left and right of this. I hope you can see that. Make a knot, turn it around once more, make another knot, and put the cross knot on top. By the way, if you have issues with the knots, what is a cross knot and half hitch and all this, there is a video on the YouTube channel of InnerSpace Explorers. So scroll down a little bit and you'll find it, lines and knots, and they explain all the knots and how they are made and what they're good for. So now we have attached that, and again we cut it off and burn it down. If you ask yourself where to get this beautiful orange line, you'll find it in the ISE shop. It's a regular cave line, same characteristics as the white stuff you know from your spools and your reels. So it sinks, does not float, and yeah, same characteristics, just in a much more brighter color. Alright, so this is done as well. It's nicely attached. Now you can grab it and clip it and all good. Alright, that's it. I hope this solved a couple of frequently asked questions. We had quite a few people asking for that, and see you next time. Bye.